Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Chief Guest of the opening plenary session of Sustainable Apparel Forum 2019, Mr. Mohammad Atiqul, Islam Honorable Mayor, Dhaka North City Corporation, and former President BGMEA. Guest of Honor, Mohammad Shahriar Alam, MP. Honorable State Minister, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Distinguished special guest, His Excellency Benoit Prefontaine, High Commission of Canada in Bangladesh. Mr. Pierre, Borjesson, Head of Sustainability, Global Production, H&M Group. Distinguished presence, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all of you. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the second edition of Sustainable Apparel Forum 2019 on behalf of Bangladesh Apparel Exchange and BGMEA. When I am saying on behalf of BGMEA and Bangladesh Apparel Exchange, I'm feeling extremely proud because both of my organizations. I belongs to the BGMEA and belongs to Bangladesh Apparel Exchange both. The Sustainable Apparel Forum envisages being a leading global forum on sustainability established in Bangladesh to promote the sustainability agenda within the textile and apparel supply chain. The ultimate goal of the forum is to facilitate a meaningful exchange of knowledge to expose issues relating to sustainability for the benefit of manufacturers and people at large. The forum aims to enable Bangladesh apparel industry to progress as a responsible sourcing destination on the global landscape by accelerating the momentum of sustainability within the industry through education and awareness. The first edition of SAF event was held on 17th May 2017. The event served as a platform for sustainable technology development partners, material innovation companies, green solution providers, and other stakeholders to meet and understand the requirements of green manufacturing. Our forum is emerging as a knowledge gateway and networking platform which allows discussion around the issues facing sustainability and features world-class speakers to bring in meaningful perspectives of sustainability in the apparel industry. Distinguished presence, nowadays, social and environmental sustainability has become a burning priority for apparel industry. It is becoming an increasingly important issue for consumers and governments both. In the global sustainability framework, we can see the priorities are being aligned and in almost all policy documents and also strategies. In a local context, Bangladesh government's 7th five-year plan, National Sustainable Development Strategy, nationally determined contributions, and Bangladesh Delta Plan 2100, all these policy documents have integrated sustainability in its core. In the global context, the Sustainable Development Goals, Paris Agreement, and all other international treaties and conventions are also pushing the industry to become more resilient. European Union plan to be carbon neutral by 2050. Most of the major brands of Europe have planned to ensure sustainable sourcing by 2025. Germany also launching Green Button initiative, which is a state-owned system of certifying sustainable products. You are definitely aware of the fact that Bangladesh is the second largest apparel manufacturing country in the world. As per 2019 CPO survey of McKinsey and Company, Bangladesh is still one of the most preferred apparel sourcing destinations of the world. This is good news, but it is also comes up with certain responsibility as well. In today's world, consumers are not just concerned about economic value of the product, rather they also look into the non-economic value of the product as well. They want to play their role while buying a product. They look into the environmental and social cost of the product before wearing. Consumers ask for water and carbon footprint of a product before they buy it. Having said that, Bangladesh RMG industry is also making significant strides to make our foothold stronger in the global textile value chain. Currently, we have 101 lead green factories, 500 plus more are in the pipeline. Our factories are doing excellent practices like cogeneration and trigeneration, condensate recovery boiler, waste to heat boiler, solar PV, that is renewable energy, LED lights, skylights, servo motor, building management system, etc. In the change scenario of global business, sustainability is a key area of concern and one of the main dealing points for business with apparel brands, and therefore sustainability will play a key role not only in terms of social and environmental sustainability, but also for the economic sustainability as well. On this backdrop, in SAF 2019, we have designed 5 plenary sessions on 5 broad thematic areas to discuss and draw a map to achieve our strategic goals. I hope and believe with active participation of the speakers, discussants, and practitioners, we will be able to make the SAF 2019 a great success. I would like to end by a quote of Mr. Ban Ki-moon. There is no plan B, because we have no planet B as well. Thank you very much. Thanks again for your patience listening. Thanks.
Hello.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohiuddin Rubel, for sharing your tone-setting speech for the day. Now I'd like to request Mr. Pierre Borjesson, Head of Sustainability of Global Production H&M Group, to please come up and say a few words on this occasion.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for inviting H&M and myself to this important event in Bangladesh. Not just important for Bangladesh, but important for the whole global textile industry around the world. With the size of the Bangladesh textile industry, it's of course global importance how we are developing this market. It has global effect on different issues such as climate change, how we can be leaders when it comes to water practices, how we can be leaders when it comes to human rights related practices, purchasing practices, behaviors of brands, and so on. So thank you very much for inviting us here. My name is Pierre Borjesson. I've been with the company for almost 15 years, now leading our sustainability work in the supply chain. And I'm glad to be back to Bangladesh, a country I lived in 2006 to 2009. Bangladesh, or H&M in Bangladesh, we have a large presence in this market. I believe many of you know that we have been engaged in many different sustainability efforts. And I think the eyes are on this full industry here, how we are to develop further when it comes to different practices. And I don't think the eyes is only on us in the room here. I think the eyes are on all of us that are engaged in the industry here. It is different stakeholders, suppliers, the government, the civil society, and so on. But it's not only eyes, it's also expectations on having solutions. And I think the solutions are on us sitting in the room here today. And I encourage all of us after this day that we have not just highlighted problems and issues that we need to tackle, but also debated on what the solutions are, the initiatives that we need to start, the actions that we need to take. And I look very much forward leaving this day, not just with greater insights, but of course also with greater actions that we can take forward after this day. And I encourage all of us here, but especially us as speakers and moderators, to steer the conversation to actions that we can conclude, align ourselves on, and take, and go forward. Okay, I would like to highlight a few specific things. There are many things to say when it comes to the Bangladesh textile industry. You can say it has been a wonder of success. It's been a huge growth in the market. It has shown how the textile industry can contribute to the welfare of people. We have done great progress, but we are not where we need to be. We need to continue the progress. We need to continue our efforts to do even more going forward when it comes to the Bangladesh textile industry and the global textile industry as well, of course. So with the ambition of being a $50 billion business, there is huge growth ahead of us. What I understand, the growth plan is to be a $50 billion business by 2021, which is around the corner. And that has, of course, impact on various kind of resources. Water is one of them, and that is one of my highlights that I would like to bring up here. What is the impact on water when we will grow the business from the $35 billion business to the $50 billion business? What is the effect on communities in Bangladesh, both when it comes to domestic water usage and industrial water usage? This is something that is crucial for us to know when we are growing to a $50 billion business. Whether that is 40, 50, or 60, whether that is 20, 21, or 25. Having water included in our growth plans is, of course, essential for us here. And from an H&M perspective, we would be happy to work further with various stakeholders. BGMEA, for instance, representing the suppliers. Various stakeholders in the country that has great knowledge when it comes to the water. How we should understand the groundwater situation in the country, for instance. Currently, the groundwater in Bangladesh is down to almost 100 meters. And in the Dhaka area, where most of the business is, the degradation is much larger than what it can be. The natural recharge is lower than the abstraction of the groundwater. So the degradation of the groundwater is negative. That's not how it can continue to be. And having growth plans on the expense of water is obviously not sustainable. That's not how we can continue. And we need to work collectively to change that. From an H&M perspective, we are working with WRG, for instance, when it comes to policy change in the country. We're also promoting putting a value on water that comes to a monetary cost. So water will be treated differently when it comes to water efficiency, when it comes to recycling and circularity on water. And also looking, of course, on the quality of water and how that is affecting communities. To my second bullet that I would like to bring up is working conditions and the industrial relationships in the country. It is utmost important that we have a functional social dialogue between the workforce and the employers, both when it comes to the factory level and the national level. Again, having growth that we applaud to a $50 billion business must be in collaboration with those that carry out the work, the workforce in our suppliers and partners. That's where it needs to be a strong dialogue between the workforce and their employers. We need to look at how we can improve working conditions, how we can improve wages when it comes to the textile workers. As we know, that leads to strong benefits in health, in education, to those that are also dependent on the salaries to the textile workers. We need to look at gender questions and how we get more women into leadership positions. Something I actually think is reflected in the panel that we have here today, myself included. From an H&M perspective, we are working with ACT to promote better working conditions and higher wages, and also a social dialogue that is including the workers in each factory and also on a national level. And I would encourage you, all of you here in the room, to continue such efforts and have a dialogue. In the case of H&M, it is to continue that dialogue with BGMEA, that we would like to promote the initiative of ACT in Bangladesh, or various other initiatives that have the same ambition. The third topic that I would like to bring up is climate change. Needless to say, something that is affecting all of us in all aspects of life. Climate change is something that H&M has a high ambition in. We have set ourselves to be the first company in textile in the world to have an ambition to be a climate positive, achieve a climate positive value chain by 2040. That means that our value chain, so everything from, for instance, the raw material, the cotton seed, to the usage of our product, the product that we're responsible to put out there on the market, that full value chain contributes to reductions in greenhouse gases to a larger extent than what it actually emits by itself. That is what we mean with climate positive. And that is something that is necessary from a consumption perspective related to our industry, of course. And we cannot do that ourselves. We have to have all our partners on board in order to achieve that. In the supply chain, we have a milestone to reach a climate neutral, as a minimum, climate neutral supply chain by 2030, the latest. And that is around the corner. It's fairly close in time, and we do not have time to wait longer to take action on that. Crucial parts in being a climate neutral, climate positive player in the industry is, of course, to work with your efficiency in energy, increase your renewable energy, but of course also work with initiatives that is contributing to climate resilience. In the case of Bangladesh, I believe there is large opportunity to improve and work with suppliers on how the policies needs to be in order to make it more effective for private sector investments in renewable energy. So it's profitable and effective to do these investments. And here I applaud those that are working with the government already, and I would encourage those that are not yet doing that to work with the government to improve, where necessary and if needed, the policies enabling you to make these investments. So, having that said, there is more to say, of course, but having that said, I will need to end my remarks. And again, I encourage all of you here in the room to make sure that we focus on solutions, actions that we can take, that we're just not discussing problems, but actually collaboration, how we come together, and not throwing pies on each other, because again, the solutions are in the room. The great crowd that we have here, we all sit on the competence, on the solutions to bring this industry even more forward. One of the most important industries for the global textile industry of the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pierre Borjesson. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sheikh Fazli Fahim, President of Federation of Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industries, is not here with us today. He's conveyed his deepest apologies. Now, I would like to request His Excellency, Mr. Benoit Prefontaine, Honorable High Commissioner, High Commission of Canada to Bangladesh, to please come up and say a few words.
Honorable Mayor, Honorable State Minister of Foreign Affairs, Excellencies and distinguished guests, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good morning to everyone. I'd like to start by thanking the organizers for inviting me today. I think they must have seen me speak before because they've asked me to keep my remarks to 3 minutes or less. So this forced me to think about what I wanted to convey this morning to this audience. And first of all, it's important to celebrate Bangladesh's success as the world's second largest global apparel exporter. And increasingly, that success will depend on the commitment of stakeholders in finding ways to make this industry more sustainable. Canada, like many other countries who are friends of Bangladesh, wants to be your partner. We understand the importance of the RMG sector for the workers, for the economy, and for the social and industrial development of Bangladesh. That's why the Government of Canada has been providing nearly $20 million in grants since 2013 through the International Labour Organization, specifically for improving working conditions and for sustainable remediation in RMG. Canada has also maintained its unilateral tariff preferences, which allows Bangladesh RMG products to enter Canada duty-free. And this has created a huge trade surplus for your country. In exchange, Canadian citizens hope to see continued progress in several areas of the RMG sector. Whenever I visit Canada, I can tell you that I receive many questions about factory inspections, worker safety, the fairness of labor practices. These are issues of interest to the Canadian media and to ordinary Canadian citizens. Likewise, I can tell you that Canadian importers and retailers are under constant scrutiny regarding their supply chains and the impact of their decisions on the population of countries such as Bangladesh. Canada wants to contribute to a positive shift in workplace culture because worker safety is not only important to the workers and their families, but also to the Made in Bangladesh brand. Bangladesh is on its way to building a culture of occupational health and safety, and this is vitally important for the continuity of what has been happening here. In order to remain competitive and bring further benefits to Bangladesh, it's critical for stakeholders engaged in the apparel sector to persevere in implementing reforms and stay focused on achieving the sustainability of all of these reforms. And you can count on Canada's continued support. Merci beaucoup. Shobaiké Dondobad. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, His Excellency Benoit Prefontaine. Now I request our guest of honor, Mr. Mohammad Shahriar Alam MP, Honorable State Minister, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, to please come up and say a few words.
Honorable Mayor of Dhaka North City Corporation, Mr. Mohammad Atiqul Islam, Excellency Benoit Prefontaine, High Commissioner of Canada in Bangladesh. Sheikh Fahim is not here, but hopefully he has all his prayers and thoughts for us. Mr. Pierre, Head of Sustainability, Global Production H&M Group. And I must confess that when I left business 12 years ago, I don't think any of the major retailer had any such position to call Head of Sustainability. So that's a transformation I have witnessed in last 1 decade as well. And I'm sure there are many in the audience. Mr. Mohiuddin Rubel, Director, BGMEA and Managing Director of Bangladesh Apparel Exchange. Quite a few very well-known faces after some time. Friends from media, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, stakeholders, journalists. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all of you. As much as you are, I'm absolutely delighted to join this Sustainable Apparel Forum here today, this morning. I must commend Bangladesh Apparel Exchange and BGMEA and all the stakeholders who has joined hands and collaborated this fantastic enterprise. I believe this event would be an innovative way to showcase Bangladesh's potential growth opportunities as well as the challenges of our apparel industry that we are currently facing. Ladies and gentlemen, our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, envisioned a poverty-free Bangladesh almost 50 years ago. 4 decades since, his daughter, none other than Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, is steadfast in realizing that dream. This is manifest in the government's avowed visions of graduating Bangladesh from a lower income country to a middle income country by 2021 and a developed country by 2041. In global platforms, as many often ask me of Bangladesh's approach to economic growth and industrialization, I underline our focus on people in each economic activity and growth path based on sustainable development, in line with Honorable Prime Minister's commitment to people of 160 million. For us, ensuring safety, dignity, and well-being of every Bangladeshi at work is of primary concern. In this journey, we do not see any trade-off between profit and people. That is a key strength of Bangladesh's development model. Our confidence emanates from our growth experience over past decades, growing at over 6%, which is now well over 8%. Our people and entrepreneurs continue to show much resilience and innovation in course of attaining the key social and economic development goals. The journey of Bangladesh RMG should also underline how the growth of an industry can contribute to attainment of right to development, democracy, and human rights of individuals. This is the backdrop of the contemporary Bangladesh RMG and knitwear sector. With significant contribution to exports, GDP, employment, and to empowerment, the sector is inextricably twined to contemporary Bangladesh's success story. For millions across generations, particularly in rural Bangladesh, the industry transformed lives and livelihoods, provided social goods, gave them voices. The industry contributed to attaining equity across economic and social groups. In the process, our youth workforce has demonstrated their skills, efficiencies, and determination. Our entrepreneurs, some of them are present here today, has weathered challenges and ventured into new lands and areas. Contemporary Bangladesh RMG and textile sector is going through a major transformation, like other sectors of our economy and society. Emergence of fourth industrial technologies has changed many conventional business models of this sector. Meaningful exchange of knowledge can make sustainability easier for the manufacturing excellence across the industry. The industry and the government have been trying to bring in changes wherever and whatever necessary. We have embarked on addressing the gaps, limitations, and constraints. To date, engagement of Bangladesh has been vindicated by a range of policy, institutional, and legislative arrangements and measures taken both by the government and the industry. From Paris through Geneva, Brussels to Washington, rapidity and sincerity of Bangladesh's engagement have received recognition. Being engaged in the global discourses, I note that within the evolving global RMG supply chain, the global brands also required to deliver on their commitments at similar pace. Their due response is crucial to make the entire industry and the supply chain compliant, competitive, caring. End of the day, manufacturing is a collaborative enterprise and is about shared responsibility. Full appreciation and realization of respective roles and responsibilities can truly sustain global supply chain in an industry as RMG. This is all the more so in the context of responsible business conduct that the global stakeholder plays to. ladies and gentlemen, I must not forgetful to appreciate all our friends across the world, and some of you are well represented here, in government, in business, and in media, civil society, and academia, for reposing their unfettered confidence and trust in Bangladesh. Let me express my sincere thanks once again to Bangladesh Apparel Exchange and BGMEA for organizing the Sustainability Apparel Forum 2019. I'm confident that the ideas and knowledge to be shared in this event will facilitate our journey towards sustainability. I thank you all. Jai Bangla, Jai Bangabandhu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammad Shahriar Alam MP, Honorable State Minister. Now I request our chief guest, Mr. Muhammad Atiqul Islam, Honorable Mayor of Dhaka North City Corporation and former President of BGMEA, to please come up and say a few words.
Mr. Shahriar Alam, MP, Honorable State Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Excellency Mr. Benoit Prefontaine, High Commissioner of Canada, Mr. Pierre, Head Sustainability Global Product, H&M, Mr. Mohiuddin Rubel, Director, BGMEA, Managing Director, Bangladesh Apparel Exchange BAE, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow friends, electronic and print media, good morning to all of you. It's a lovely morning. Before I start, I'd like to give my heartiest thanks to Mr. Mustafiz Rahman. Give a big clap for him. Where is Mustafiz? Such a wonderful event, still he's not here. Still he's working. He is working, he is working. That is Mustafiz. So really, under his leadership, today is a big branding about the Bangladesh. So I must give a special thanks to Mustafiz and all his team to work to have such a wonderful event. Really will appreciate of Mustafiz. If you see the social sustainability, which we are ensuring that through our tireless efforts to our workers' safety, workers' right, well-being, and dignity. And we are very much committed to our workers for the well-being, for the dignity, and for the safety. So I must say, under the leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, now we are using our garments industry a big tag. The tag is Made in Bangladesh with Pride, because we are ensuring the dignity, safety, and the well-being to our workers. If you see the environment sustainability, we all know Bangladesh is at least the developed country. We all know that we are one of the least carbon emitting countries per capita in the world. Do you know that our globally leaders in green industrial already? We have 101 LEED certified factories now, and 500 more are in the pipeline. Third, the economic sustainability. Now this is where we have an unusual silence. We all agree to the fact that to make a factory safer, socially and environmentally compliant, we need to consider huge investment and cost. But there are hardly any position to get financing at competitive cost. So I thank the organizer for duly giving emphasis on this issue. As I can see, this is a session of purchasing practice and their impact on supplier. US Senator was saying Bangladesh, which is used to be termed as a basket case, is now is a basket full of wonders. One such wonders is the success of our apparel industry. Anyone have thought that a country which does not have produced cotton will be the second largest apparel exporter in the world? But we have achieved what people could not even dream of within 35 years of our journey. Bangladesh has become the second largest apparel exporting country in the world we exported 34 billion US dollar worth apparel last year. Our government has vision Bangladesh a middle income country by 2021 and developed country by 2041. Our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is leading the country towards that direction. In line with the government vision, BGMEA has set a target to reach $50 billion from garments export by 2021. This is not over-ambitious, but the journey is not going to be easy for us as well. We cannot achieve this target if we all us are not together, share responsibilities, and help to us to become more sustainable. Without sustainability plan, no business could prosper. Bangladesh is a new era of industrialization, being probably the safest apparel industry in the world. We know the pain the industry has suffered to achieve this position. We know how committed our buyers, government, and development partners supported us. But what is more important is to maintain this standard and continue the safety culture in the country. I hope with all of your continuing support, we will be able to keep the momentum of positive transformation. So it is vital for all of us to continue this journey for collaboration and support us the continue of the positive transformation. Support us make the lives of 4.4 million direct workers and 10 million people who are directly and indirectly depending on this sector. I hope this should be the spirit of the day. Let's stand ourselves committed. Thank you very much. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu.